Picture this, it's a crisp evening, the kind where shadows stretch across the room, and anticipation hangs in the air like a tightly wound spring. You find yourself settled into a worn-out armchair, surrounded by the soft glow of a vintage television. The year is 1963, and a cinematic showdown of epic proportions is about to unfold before your eyes. Enter King Kong vs. Godzilla, a collision of two colossal titans that defied the boundaries of imagination and set the screen ablaze. As the flickering images danced across the screen, you couldn't help but be drawn into a world where the unimaginable became reality. The clash of these iconic creatures stirred something within you, a blend of awe, excitement, and perhaps a hint of primal fear. The moment King Kong's mighty fist met Godzilla's roaring defiance, it was as if the room itself shook with the force of their battle. And amid the chaos, you found yourself on a journey, a spectator to a duel that transcended the screen and etched itself into your memory. Do you recall the sensation of your heart racing as King Kong and Godzilla clashed amidst towering skyscrapers, each blow echoing like thunder? Or the way you held your breath as they grappled, a fierce struggle for dominance that mirrored the tussles of your own life? It's those vivid memories that make this encounter with King Kong vs. Godzilla an indelible part of your cinematic journey. But let's not stop at reminiscing, let's delve into some intriguing tidbits about the show that might just surprise you. From the behind-the-scenes anecdotes that shaped its creation to the impact it had on pop culture, there's a treasure trove of facts waiting to be unearthed. So, with that curiosity piqued and memories of colossal clashes in mind, let's embark on a journey through the lesser-known aspects of King Kong vs. Godzilla. Get ready to see the show from a whole new angle, and perhaps even add a layer of appreciation to those iconic moments that have stayed with you over the years. When titans clashed, behind the scenes of King Kong vs. Godzilla in the annals of cinematic showdowns, King Kong vs. Godzilla remains an enduring classic that captured the imaginations of audiences in 1963. However, the epic clash between these iconic monsters took shape amid a backdrop of creative decisions and behind-the-scenes dynamics that added a layer of intrigue to the film. At its inception, the film's producers contemplated employing stop-motion animation to bring the colossal clash to life. Yet, the rapid pace of Japan's film industry left little room for such meticulous work. Consequently, these plans were shelved, save for a couple of standout scenes. The first featured the titanic adversaries grappling with a gargantuan octopus, a sequence expertly crafted through stop-motion techniques. The second memorable instance involved Godzilla's surprising aerial attack, a dropkick, on Kong during their climactic second battle. Delving into the directorial vision of Ichirô Honda, it becomes evident that his enthusiasm for the colossal confrontation was tempered with artistic aspirations. Originally, Honda wrestled with the notion of pitting Kong against Godzilla, a premise that diverged from his creative inclinations. Disagreements with the studio over the film's tone further exacerbated his reservations. Studio executives pushed for a more comedic approach, an idea that Honda reluctantly embraced. However, rather than creating a run-of-the-mill monster spectacle, Honda seized the opportunity to weave a critique of contemporary culture into the film's fabric. In a deft move, Honda framed the monster battles as an allegory for the cutthroat television industry, a medium grappling with sensationalism and ratings wars. This shrewd decision allowed him to imbue the film with a subtext that mirrored Japan's own societal conflicts. As he revealed, "The reason I showed the monster battle through the prism of a ratings war was to depict the reality of the times. When you think of King Kong just plain fighting Godzilla, it is stupid." This layered approach infused the movie with an unexpected depth that resonated with audiences. Regrettably, much of the original film's satire and nuance was diluted when it made its way to Western audiences. The American version underwent edits to tailor the humor to sensibilities across the Pacific, leaving behind a more straightforward monster spectacle. In the end, King Kong vs. Godzilla emerged as a testament to the intricate interplay between creative vision, industry constraints, and cross-cultural translation. While the film's legacy primarily rests on its legendary monster brawl, the tale behind the scenes adds another layer of fascination to this cinematic clash of titans. Decades after the epic clash between cinematic giants, King Kong vs. Godzilla, the legendary 1963 film, continues to intrigue and captivate audiences with its storied history. While the original Japanese version sparked rumors of an alternate ending, meticulous research by author Steve Riffle dispels this myth. Contrary to the belief that the conclusion varied between Japanese and American versions, the divergence was in the overall narrative and tone. Like its predecessor Godzilla, King of the Monsters, the American release of King Kong vs. Godzilla underwent substantial changes. Producer John Beck, steering the film for an American audience, introduced fresh scenes starring American actors in a new subplot, a deviation from the Japanese original. Writers Bruce Howard and Paul Mason reshaped the dialogue and storyline, inadvertently removing the intentional humor that colored the Japanese script. Editor Peter Zinner's skilled hands rearranged the narrative structure, accompanied by a new soundtrack featuring stock music from Universal, except for the cherished Island chant. Regrettably, the unadulterated version of the film remained locked away, causing the 1963 American re-edit to overshadow its 1962 Japanese precursor. This phenomenon echoes the transmutation that transformed the film into a trans-Pacific spectacle, where the legacy of King Kong and Godzilla's monumental showdown endures, even as a contemporary American remake loomed on the horizon in 2016, with eyes set on a 2020 release date. It's the 1963 version's journey that stands as a testament to the art of adaptation and the dynamic nature of cinematic storytelling. Intrigue and speculation continue to surround this iconic duel of titans, a testament to the enduring power of classic cinema and its ability to cross cultural borders, leaving an indelible mark on the cinematic landscape. Legendary Showdown, King Kong vs. Godzilla's unprecedented box office triumph in the annals of cinematic history. Few matchups have stirred as much excitement as the colossal clash between King Kong and Godzilla. The 1963 film King Kong vs. Godzilla not only brought these iconic giants to life but also shattered box office records in both Japan and the United States, leaving an indelible mark on the world of monster movies. Unparalleled success in Japan, the unedited original Japanese version of the film stands as a testament to its enduring popularity. With its gripping storyline and awe-inspiring battles, this version holds the distinction of being the highest-attended Godzilla film in Japan's storied cinematic landscape. Notably, it occupies a place of honor as one of the most-watched films in Japanese box office history, even surpassing the likes of Hollywood juggernauts like Star Wars and Avatar. With its admission numbers soaring to unprecedented heights, King Kong vs. Godzilla clinched the 13th spot among the most attended films of all time in Japan. A trans-Pacific triumph across the ocean, the heavily re-edited US version of the film proved equally momentous. Skillfully infusing new actors and omitting select scenes from the original, this adaptation captivated American audiences and mirrored its Japanese counterpart's success. At the US box office, the film roared to victory, further cementing its place in cinematic lore. A waterscape marvel, Toho's big pool behind the scenes, the production of King Kong vs. Godzilla showcased technological marvels that added depth and authenticity to the film's gripping water sequences. The movie marked a pivotal point as the first Godzilla film to utilize Toho's remarkable creation, the big pool. Conceived under the watchful eye of Eiji Tsuburaya, this aquatic marvel spanned over 200 feet at its widest and deepest points. Its towering 50-feet concrete wall stood as a protective backdrop, enabling filmmakers to craft awe-inspiring water scenes that brought the Battle of the Titans to life. Unlocking the Japanese version for decades, the original unedited Japanese version of King Kong vs. Godzilla remained largely hidden from the eyes of the world. Yet, in a historic turn of events, the Criterion Collection box set of 2019 unveiled a treasure trove for cinephiles and aficionados. Nestled within this collection was the first-ever home video release of the Japanese version in the United States. This long-awaited revelation offered audiences a rare glimpse into the film's unaltered essence, deepening their appreciation for the masterpiece that continues to capture hearts. In the pantheon of cinematic clashes, King Kong vs. Godzilla endures as a timeless epic, weaving together cultural phenomena, technological marvels, and unparalleled box office triumphs. With its legacy still reverberating through modern monster movies, this legendary showdown stands as a testament to the power of storytelling on a grand scale. In the annals of cinematic history, the clash of titans that was King Kong vs. Godzilla reverberates as a hallmark of monster mayhem. Beyond the towering showdown, this 1963 spectacle left its indelible mark through a series of intriguing cinematic choices that would shape the legacy of two iconic creatures. Unveiling a more lighthearted Godzilla, the film marked a pivotal moment with the introduction of the famed creature's now familiar high-pitched roar. Crafted by blending two original roars from Godzilla's 1954 inception and deftly speeding up the cadence, this auditory evolution was a deliberate shift away from the creature's darker tones in prior movies. This distinctive roar, meticulously refined, resonated not only through the Showa Godzilla series but also the verses divided by Heisei and Millennium iterations. In a tale of auditory contrast, the original Japanese version's fade-out tantalized eardrums with both Godzilla's and Kong's triumphant roars. Yet, the US release opted to privilege Kong's roar alone, an alteration that underscored the film's divergence in translation. This pivot, a snapshot of cultural adaptations, mirrored the broader transformation the movie would undergo on its Western journey. While King Kong vs. Godzilla soared as a commercial and critical hit, the American re-edit elicited a chorus of mixed reviews from Western critics. Displeasure rippled through those who encountered the altered version, chiding Japan's reimagining of Kong as a comedic figure and lambasting the dubbing that American distributors, not the original filmmakers, had undertaken. Paradoxically, many critics remained oblivious to the film's American roots, failing to recognize that the version they critiqued was essentially an American reinterpretation of a Japanese original tailored for laughs. Among the discerning few, the Le Times offered a counterpoint, lauding the effects and comic characters. The King Kong design itself garnered praise for its fittingly Quasimodo-esque expression, an embodiment of joyful indulgence. As King Kong vs. Godzilla roared onto screens, it wasn't just the monsters that clashed, it was a cultural encounter, a symphony of roars and edits that etched itself into the cinematic chronicle. As the final credits roll on our journey through the epic clash of titans in King Kong vs. Godzilla, we find ourselves not just as passive spectators, but as active participants in the legacy of this cinematic marvel. The year was 1963, a time when the worlds of fantasy and reality were both daunting and thrilling, and this iconic showdown captured the very essence of that era. As the colossal footsteps of Kong and Godzilla shook the screen, they reverberated deep within us, awakening a primal curiosity that still resides in the corners of our minds. Whether you first experienced this monumental clash in a crowded theater or stumbled upon it on a late-night TV marathon, it's a film that leaves an indelible mark, forging connections across generations. Think back to those moments when you felt your heart race as Kong swung his mighty fists at Godzilla, or when the thunderous roars echoed in your ears. Was it the spectacle itself that drew you in, or perhaps the underlying themes of nature's dominance and humanity's folly? This clash of behemoths wasn't merely about physical might, it became a reflection of our own struggles, our own yearning for triumph against seemingly insurmountable odds. So, here's your invitation: take a moment to dive into your memory vaults and relive those emotions, those thoughts, and perhaps even those debates about who truly reigns supreme. What made this movie special for you? Was it the grandeur of the battles, the nostalgia it brings, or the unique charm of a bygone era? In the end, King Kong vs. Godzilla isn't just a movie, it's a shared experience that binds us through time. Your memories, your insights, they are a part of the rich tapestry that makes this film a cultural touchstone. Share your thoughts, your favorite scenes, or the conversations it sparked. Let's celebrate the power of storytelling and the connections it forges. Thank you for joining me on this voyage back in time, as we've pondered the majesty and legacy of King Kong vs. Godzilla. Your time and interest are truly appreciated.